Welcome to today's video. I am super excited because this is the moment that you've all been waiting for. Now don't get me wrong, it's no Georgia the Premium, but it's Georgia and it's from Japan. Shout out to you, Cap. Thanks for sending this little care package to me. I appreciate you and what you do. I'm gonna continue drinking this. Drinking. I'm gonna continue drinking this and get on with today's vlog. ASMR coffee time is back, boys. So my agenda today is to mount this oil cooler and, well, here's half of it, the oil filter relocation kit in the Miata. Because of the way that the bumper in this car is designed, and also with the time and the budget that I have left, we really don't have many options of where to mount this. I mean, ideally, I would prefer to mount it here, like on a Silvia or a Skyline, where you guys have seen me mount those in Japan in that corner, because there's sufficient vents and stuff in the bumper that goes straight into that, and lots of airflow gets through. But really, we've got one option, and with air conditioning and all that kind of stuff in here, and the condenser and whatnot, we still really only have one option, and that is in between the intercooler and the condenser. There's enough space in here to make it work. We're going to do it over on the side as much as possible. I'm also going to mount this upside down so the lines are going along the bottom and following the AC lines up into where the oil filter and everything's going to be. So that's my game plan today. So let's get to it. But before we get on the tools, I've got an important message from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Dafsky. And if you don't know what Dafsky is, let me show you. This is Dafsky. They just sent me a huge box full of all of their air fresheners that they sell. And the best thing about them is they're all JDM Japanese influenced and based off a whole bunch of the Japanese car culture. So you guys can see here, let's get some of these things out. You got the Japanese flag, you got a made in Japan one here. I mean, you can unleash your inner weeb with some of these anime themed ones. Please, YouTube, don't demonetize me. And as you guys can see, like they just so many different designs. Another thing that I really like about Dafsky is they are car enthusiasts themselves. So you know that what you're going to be getting is something that you're going to love because it's a product made for car enthusiasts by car enthusiasts. So make sure you guys head to their online store and grab yourself some fresh air fresheners for your car to help keep your car fresh, no pun intended, with a really cool JDM Japanese design. Once again, go support the companies that support me, because without them, I would not be able to do what I'm doing now. So thank you so much, Dafsky, for sponsoring this video. And once again, go check out the link in the description, guys. They have a huge range. Go check it out. So this might be hard to see, but we've got the oil cooler all mounted up in there now. And I'm trying to figure out where to run the lines and where the filter itself is going to mount. Now, initially, I was hoping I could just somehow like fit it in here, but that's just not gonna work. Not in a nice way where I want like the lines to run and stuff like that. It's just going to get all in the way of the radiator hose here, the fuel lines and all that kind of stuff. So I'm starting to think about mounting it up and in here, just so it's kind of like out of the way and really easy to access, as well as like when you take off the filter, it's not going to dump oil all in the engine bay and stuff. So I think what might end up happening is we might end up mounting it here above there. So all you have to do is reach under with your arm and unscrew it and screw a new one on. And then the only thing that may get some oil on it is this intercooler piping, which is super easy to just clean with some brake cleaner and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. But one positive thing is nut certs are the best. This thing like doesn't move at all. And I've got 2 braces on it at the top as well as one down below. The thing ain't going nowhere. I don't know if you can see down there, but it's mounted in there with a nice bit of room either side, so it should do pretty well there. But yeah, overall, it's nearly midnight. I'm going to call it quits for today. I'm going to put some tape on the end of that cooler so no water or anything gets in there for tonight while I'm driving home. But yeah, it's It's frustrating because, like, you know, if this was a Skyline, there's so much room to work with. Like, I think on my Skyline, I had my oil cooler kit installed in the matter of like 1 to 2 hours. It was just so straightforward and easy. But with this thing, there's not much space. Everything's kind of already in there, and it's a real pain. I kind of wish, like, I definitely figured this all out before, but I was kind of hoping that cooling was going to be sufficient where maybe we didn't need it. But yeah. Obviously, that's not the case. So let's pick things up in the morning. I'm gonna get here bright and early, and we'll get this thing mounted and go from there. It is now the next day, and I've got the car already inside, up on jack stands and ready to roll. See guys, jack stands, I always, even though you might see the jack there is a jack stand behind them at all times. Anyways, that aside, it's time to get this mounted up in the bumper, run all the lines and stuff, and get this oil cool functioning and working. It's killing me how long this is taking, so we're just gonna get in and get it done. Let's go. So a quick update, I've got the filter block mounted up there, and I just started measuring out the first cut that I need to do on the dash 10 line. And I'm pretty sure I've said this before when I did some AN fitting stuff on the channel, but I always use electrical tape on the ends and stuff, and always mark where I'm going to cut with electrical tape and then cut in the middle of that, because that stops everything from fraying and stuff. It makes your life so much easier when you're squeezing the fittings on. So just a pro tip, I'm going to use the angle grinder with a thin cutting blade. I'm going to cut through there, and don't forget guys, always safety first. Trust me, I've got enough pieces of metal in my eye and had to go to the hospital for them to then get those pieces out with a needle. Literally, they stuck needles in my eye to get pieces of metal out. So trust me, always safety first. Got the first hose made up, and this is what's going to connect the filter block to the cooler, and then the other 2 lines need to go from the filter block back to the engine block, and then from the cooler to the engine block. So after this one, 2 more kind of longish lines, a little bit more complicated, and we're done. So finally making the last run now. It's taken way longer than expected, just all these little issues along the way, like having to move things so that there's enough room for lines. It's not been fun, that's for sure, and I'm definitely not going to meet my upload normal deadline today, which kind of sucks, but it's all good. I've been on such a good roll up until now. And there we have it, line is now finished. The last step to all of this is always make sure before you put it on the car, you run the air compressor through it, just to get any particles or anything out of here, because this will be going into your oil system. It's finally done, a fair few hours later. Before we do anything, I've already put an extra quart of water. Sorry, what is wrong with me? That would be a problem if I put an extra quart of water in there. I put an extra quart of oil in the engine because normally oil cooler systems and stuff and all the extra lines take up an extra quart. So it's got the cam angle sensor unplugged, so that means the engine's not going to spray fuel or ignition. No spark's going to happen while we do this. So we're going to crank and build up oil pressure and look at this oil gauge. So now that we got oil pressure, we plug that cam angle sensor back in. Quick check for leaks. Nothing. Now what we're going to do is go start it. We're going to let it run for a couple seconds and then shut it off right away, just to check for leaks. Bam, oil pressure instantly, which is good. 3, 2, 1. Shut her off. Now let's check for leaks, because now there should be oil through that entire system. And we just want to make sure no leaks are appearing here. So far, so good. I'll get the light out and I'll check on some fittings where the oil filter was and everything, just to make sure we're good there. But so far, it looks good. Well, I've had this thing idling, brought it all the way up to temperature, been checking for leaks non-stop. We are all good, not a single drop of oil anywhere. And I have to say, the amount of time it took for this thing to come up to full temperature was a lot longer, which is a good thing. It means that that the cooling, the fact that we added the oil cooler is working. So I'm just gonna go out for a little bit of a drive. I definitely want to go and test this again, which probably means we got to go get some Clover, some crappy tires on those Clover wheels, and then go send it again, just to see whether or not we've made any big difference. That's my biggest thing right now, is I want to make sure that we've definitely improved the cooling of this car. So just taking the car for a little bit of a drive, getting on it a little bit. Because I want to build that oil pressure up to test the oil system. Just like, I know it's not leaking. Man, that exhaust rattle, I need to readjust those V-bands when we take that transmission off and do that clutch plate. But the main thing is I want to just take it around for a bit, get some oil pressure up, and then recheck all those leaks. Jeez. This thing just launches. Sounds so good. So successful little drive, and I've gone over everything already under here, and there's no extra oil leaks anyway, except the water dripping off from all the weather and the rain, but we are good. I was quite confident we weren't going to have any problems, but yeah, it's also adamant. I'm not seeing the temperature gauge at all kind of rise at all when I'm starting to get on it. There was a fair bit there where I just went out on the main road and cruised for a fair bit and just really was staying in the high RPMs and not shifting out of gears to just try and induce a bunch of heat, and it just wasn't doing what I previously saw it do. So when the weather's better and we've got a chance to go to Mexico again, we'll test this thing, and I'm pretty confident cooling is going to be much better. So here's where I'm going to leave today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learnt something new. I know we're just throwing on an oil cooler kit, and it's just been something that I've been putting off forever, and obviously it's made a pretty big difference to the cooling of the car, and I think it's just going to help the car in general with whatever the future owner decides to do. So with that, guys, smash the like button, write us a comment, and I'll see you all up, and don't forget to subscribe. That's an important one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Jamata.